I'm being joined in our studios here by public health physician, Dr. Adeola Owolabi. Good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Well, it's day one. Let me begin by asking, what's your general impression in terms of the easing of the lockdown? What are the reports that you're getting, and what did you yourself observe?
Well, I was able to go out today and observe what people were doing. I would say it's too early to ease the lockdown because people are not complying with the general precautions. You know, it's a disease that has come to disrupt habits and behaviors in people. So compliance level at this level is still low. So the general observation is that people are not really complying with the general precautions.
If one takes that, I mean, from in terms of the PTF observations and then from the observations of those, they would seem to align largely with what you've talked about, which is that the level of compliance is extremely low. But there are those who have argued that that was to be expected on day one, that people who had been locked up for more than 4 weeks would all want to come out, even those who didn't have much to do. They'd all want to exercise that freedom. But having said that, given what you've observed about the compliance levels, going forward now, should we be introducing some other form of compliance, so to speak, in order to enforce this?
Okay, like you said, enforcement will be needed at this time because, like I said, it's a disease that has come to disrupt habits. People are used to certain ways of life, and now you're telling them to observe other patterns of living. It is expected to enforce it. Over time, it becomes part of them. But at this early stage, I still expect people not to comply.
Going forward, Kano remains a very sore point. A lot of people keep pointing their fingers in that direction, particularly as an example of what can happen when community spread begins to really take root. A lot of people have spoken to the fact, in fact, at the PTF briefing today, the Minister of Health talked about 80% community spread. Now, that's some of the reports that are being received. With what you've said now about the non-compliance, could this be possibly replicated elsewhere now that people are free, so to speak, to go to work and go to other places?
Yeah, bringing Kano to fore, I would say this is a time to put sentiment and bias aside when addressing this issue. Because now, people are not complying in Kano, and we are seeing the rapid surge and increase in number of cases in Kano. So like I said, drastic measures need to be put in place, put aside.
Like what? When you talk of drastic measures?
Now, like the social distancing we've been talking about, we can see that it's not really being observed in Kano, you understand? And government really needs to take drastic measures to ensure that the citizen stays at home and to ensure that all other measures being put in place are also complied with.
Do you fear that if there is a deluge of cases, health workers like yourselves and the facilities that we have might be overwhelmed?
Yes, I foresee that happening because the health system is going to be overburdened by cases that will come in. And we must also realize that this is an occupational hazard to health workers. So health workers themselves are also being exposed to this risk. And if we're talking about facilities, we must also talk about the health workers there. So if more health workers are being exposed and they are coming down with COVID, then what do we face? It's a disaster in waiting, which I pray shouldn't happen.
In the nation's commercial capital, we'll come to that report in the course of the program, there's also this problem of physical or social distancing and compliance with the rules, particularly of public transportation. A lot of those who went out observed that it's almost like it's business as usual for the public transporters. Again, another source of possible problems
Yes.
going forward. What do we do? Because I'm sure some of the administrators will ask themselves, beyond what has been done, advocacy, trying to appeal, making people see this from their point of view, the advantages for them and so on, what else can be done?
Well, at this moment, I feel those offering essential services should be the one on the road. And really, we are talking about the road transportation. We are not talking about the waterways. Are we sure that people are not using the waterways? Are we sure that people are not using the rail system interstate? It's only the people offering essential services at this time that should be out there. People can work from home. People have been doing that, and we see that it's working. So let's adopt this for now. Let's limit the number of people out there, and this is going to help us.
But the whole essence with the lockdown, you can see some of the visuals. These are what was going on today, earlier on today. It's, if we didn't know anything about COVID, this would have been just another day in Lagos. And yet, this came after 4 weeks, 5 weeks of constant awareness and people being told to stay apart, wear their masks and all of that. Yet, this is what, of course, here, this is the government-approved public transport system. This is the BRT system. A bit more order here. But very few people, in terms of percentage, are able to follow through with this. So again, we're going back to what we have, what will essentially be a problem for us going forward. And that's why I ask you, what do you think can be done? From what I'm getting from you, you think we should go back to the lockdown? To the lockdown.
I strongly support the lockdown because it's too early to ease it. You understand? Like what you just showed a while ago, showing that people, what I saw today, it was just like business as usual. You understand? So to help the citizens, maybe people don't understand the implication of their actions and their inactions in a way. So at this time, government should still extend the lockdown, in my own opinion.
That doesn't seem to be on the cards at the moment. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is the cases. From Friday, Saturday, Sunday, up until just yesterday when we had a reduction in the number of new confirmed cases, it was all the way up. First you had 195, 196, 204, then 238, before it then came down to 170. And yet that was before we eased the lockdown. My question earlier about overwhelming the public health services. I must go back and ask you, even if we go back to the lockdown, even if we lock back down, how do we avoid the potential difficulty that will come from non-compliance?
Okay. We need to understand that in addressing issues like this, we need to step up our surveillance, you understand? Then disease notification, we need to step up this. Then we also need to go to the secondary level of curbing this, which involves screening, increasing the number of people that are being screened. Then the positive cases, we must try to separate them or isolate them from the general population so as to prevent spread. And lastly, those who are positive, we must also treat them and rehabilitate them. So having observed all of this, we will be able to fight it and combat it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adeola Owolabi, for joining us at this time. We hope that some of those fears you've expressed do not come to bear and that people will take more care as we proceed at this time.
Thank you.